Hi, in this video I will be demonstrating how to install these side skirts. I purchased these off Amazon. So the size of these side skirts, as you can see, it's 45 centimeters. The height is just less than 8 centimeters. Now this is the color. It's not quite a deep black. It is shiny, it's got a gloss on it, but it's not very dark. For example, this is darker than that, and I will put this on the vehicle and I'll show you because I have a black BMW. Right, so the unit would sit like that, and there you can see the color. Right, there you can see the color difference. Even though I've got a black car, you can see there is a considerable difference in black of the plastic versus the color of the car. Right, here are these side skirts. Now I've actually sprayed this the color of my car. I matched the color, and now I just want to fix, there's a bit of an indentation over here. If I just show you what I'm talking about, have a look at that. Now that's going to bother me, especially because this is a black shiny color, and what that means is when you look along the car you will see this imperfection. So what I want to do is I want to straighten this out by using some foam and possibly some toothpicks just to straighten out that warped look. And as you can see in the reflection of the paintwork, you can see that that warped look is not very nice. Right, in order to do this, I've just got some sticky putty. We call this press stick. That's the stuff you hang posters with or things like that. Then I've just got some toothpicks and I've cut them to size, and I've measured the width of the toothpick that I'm going to put here to hold this up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this filler foam and pump it inside here, let that dry. Once I've done that, this will then be held in the straight position and we won't have this annoying warp. Another reason why I'm doing this is, as you can see, when I press it, it moves quite freely. While this has been sprayed correctly with plastic primer, the paint, and then the hardener, a lot of flexing might eventually crack the paintwork here. So I'm just going to hold this in place with these toothpicks. Right, so we can see that this is now much better. Just two little toothpicks inside there, and then I will fill it up with foam. What I'm going to do is just do the other skirt as well. Right, I'll put these toothpicks, which are acting as stilts, maintaining this to be straight. Right, I'm just putting this here just to make sure that if the foam does go over, it won't damage my paintwork. This paint has already been baked, it's completely dry. Alright, it's starting to dry and get a bit fat, so I'm just going to cut this part off. Right, so that will still harden. I've cut this one off already. Perfect, looking great. The reason I cut it off is it was putting a bit of pressure there. So just after about half an hour, just observe it, and then you can cut the overspray of the foam. Right, so now it's dry. You can see how nice and uniform that side is. The only thing is maybe this color is a bit off-putting. Also, maybe things will grow in here. Also, it looks very ugly. So what happens is when you jack up your car, you might not want to see this foam. So what you can do is you can put some silicone, or you can spray this with some spray paint. Over here, I just put some silicone just to seal it so water doesn't get in there, it doesn't rot. Up to you what you want to do at this point. So I'm just going to put silicone on this one as well. If you do get silicone on here, just take a damp cloth. You can clean silicone with water very easily when it is still wet. Right, so excuse my car, it's a little bit dirty, but this is going to sit like that. Now, unfortunately, there was a mud flap and there's some screws that are still there and they're getting in the way here. So it's making this sit at an angle. So what I'm going to try to do is just to clean this area here, make sure it is flat. Mine is unfortunately damaged here, but this will actually cover that damage, so that's great. But at the moment, as you can see, I'm going to have to almost bend this to seat here. The reason being is it's raised there but flat here. So I'm just going to remove what's in the way there, and then I'm going to clean it and install it. One could install it like that if I didn't want to remove this stuff, but for me that looks a bit silly. It should meet to that same line like that. Right, so this is the method. I'm cleaning all the surfaces with a rubbing alcohol. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a double-sided tape. This is a high quality double-sided tape, and I'm going to stick this on the underside of the car. I'm not going to stick it here because I don't know the line. Then once I've stuck it in place, I'm then going to use my drill and I'm going to drill holes that are just big enough for these push pins. So these are push pins. The reason why I'm using these push pins is because I don't want aluminium or screws under the car if something ever had to happen and a screw fell out, and then it would go straight into the tire because the tire is right behind where the skirt is seating. So these are little push pins. What happens is you drill a hole and then you push this in, and then you can either press that in or screw it in. And I've chosen this one because you can see the profile is very low. So what that means is underneath the skirt I will drill, and I'll have one there, maybe one there, and one towards the top. Now we get different types of push pins. This one, for example, doesn't have a screw head. You just press it in. The important thing is that the push pin can reach into the plastic and also that it is tight. So I've got a variety of these, and I'm now going to put my double-sided tape under the car, and then I'm going to stick on the skirt, and then I will drill it and hold it in place. Right, so this is the underside. As you can see, I said mine is damaged. That skirt will cover it a little bit, which is great. There are the screws for the what was a mud flap. So unfortunately this has a profile. Because it has a profile, I need to remove it, otherwise when I put the skirt in, the skirt is too low. Right, I've removed the screws, I've cleaned it with a rubbing alcohol, I've cleaned the surface, and now I'm going to install the skirt. Right, so I'm putting the double-sided tape here. Now, when I put the double-sided tape, I'm pushing it towards the back because I don't want to see a line of double-sided tape here at the... Right, now I can take that side off. Now, the double-sided tape is just to hold it in place. The push pins are going to be what holds it in place long term. Right, now I've got the tape there. Now, when I put this here, I can see that this jack point, the lifting point for the car, is actually hitting on here, and it's forcing this to come out. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to work out where I need to grind. I'm going to grind a little bit of this part away. Right, so this is where you jack up the car, and what I've done is I've cut away just this little piece using a angle grinder. So now when I sit this over here, you can see that I've got lots of space there and that it is no longer pushing the skirt outwards now. So now when I place this here, what was happening is it was forcing this to sit like that. Now some people may like that, but for me, because it is angled, it's got this angle here, I want that to meet with that line over there. So I want it to be like that. So it almost looks like it's cutting off like that. So that meant I had to cut underneath here. So I've now done that, and now what I can do is just place it in place. And because there's double-sided tape there, I can just use the double-sided tape to hold it. And then what I'm going to do is just stick on the other side, and then I will take the car off the ramp. Unfortunately, I can't drill here. I haven't got enough space with this ramp. So I'm going to use a jack, and I will jack up the car over here, and then I will just drill in those press pins. Right, you might be wondering what to do with this. Now, I don't want this flapping like that. Even if I do put the push pins, there's a chance that it'll flap. I want mine flush onto the side here, so I'll just clean it with some rubbing alcohol. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use double-sided tape. This is very thin double-sided tape, and it's black, and I'm just putting it on the inside there, quite low down. And then I'm pressing it onto the car. There we go. Now I'm going to drill underneath where I'm going to put my press pins. Right, so I'm going to drill here, here, maybe here, over here, and then maybe two over here. There is support on that side, and there will be support on that side. So I'm going to use my cordless screwdriver. Just check there are no fuel lines, no wires. Every car is different, so it's always important to just do a quick check. I am drilling here, but I'm going to make sure that I leave enough space for the head of the push pin. As you can see, the head has a diameter there bigger than the screw part. Notice that when I drill, I press it, and as it's through the first layer, I just do quick presses. I don't want to go into the bodywork. Right, I'm just getting the size right for the holes. This is a press pin, so it's pressed in there now. Right, so here is the skirt here. It is totally fastened. In fact, when I wobble this whole piece is wobbling. And same story on this side, completely fastened. Remember, I did put that double-sided tape in the middle there. So having a closer look, you can't see the double-sided tape. It is fastened. It's got those push pins and it wobbles this whole thing. That's how tight this skirt is fastened onto this piece here. Right, so that's the completed installation. What do you think of the look? Do you think it improves the look or not? I feel like the back bumper should have a extra piece to keep the same line. I'm a little bit on the fence on this look. Anyway, a lot of effort put into installing this, and one thing I can definitely recommend is spray it the right color of your car. Alright, so here are some additional pictures, and thanks for watching, and cheers.